carne enchiladas. All right, we're gonna do a quick little how-to on swapping your transmission fluid on a 3rd gen Tacoma. Pretty much the same thing on a 2nd gen Tacoma. This video is just gonna be quick. There's plenty of videos out there that do a better job, but this is just to show you that it's easy. Don't be discouraged because you have to do some digital electricals. It's simple. So we're gonna start with the truck cold. I'll show you what you need and we'll get right to it. All right, so this is essentially all you're gonna need. You're gonna need a 24mm socket for the fill plug on the transmission. You're gonna need a 14mm socket to drain your transmission pan. And you're gonna need a 5mm hex for the level check screw that you're gonna take out once it's up to temp. Little pick's good to have so you can clean out your transmission level bolt because it's a hex, and if there's dirt in there, you're not gonna get this all the way up in, you're gonna strip it out. So also pick these up on Amazon. I'll put this in the description, but these are basically just little crush washers, one-time use. When you do this, you want to drain and fill this a few times because you only get about 2 to 3 quarts and the system holds about 10. So I just use these, reuse these, all the different flushes, and on the last flush I'm going to put the new one in. So got your sockets, your sizes, obviously a drain pan, cheap little transfer pump, some gloves, brake clean, and then here's the fluid that I use. On the back here it will say Toyota and it will tell you WS. You can go buy that stuff from the dealer if you want, but this stuff's just as good if not better. And I like to have an old one with a funnel, so when we drain into the oil pan on your first drain, you can dump it in here and you'll be able to use the little gauge on the side and see how much you're getting out, and then you're going to put that same amount plus a half quart back in. So all right, let's get into it. This little green connector to the left, you'll see a little 24mm bolt. You want to crack that first, make sure you can get it free. It's good practice. This is going to be the 5mm check bolt, and that's your drain bolt. Your engine's up here. If you're doing an engine oil change, don't make that mistake. The truck's cold. We already cracked our 24mm fill bolt at the top. This is your 14mm transmission pan drain, and this is your check. It will have little letters on there. It will say check. So let's come through, crack that loose. There's going to be a crush washer on there, so watch out for that. And I've already done 2 flushes on this. This is going to be my 3rd, which should basically be all fresh transmission fluid at that point. So let this drain out. As soon as it stops, go ahead and replace that bolt, tighten it up, and then in the meantime, while that's draining, you can get your fill bolt out all the way. Kind of in an awkward spot up here, but it's got a little rubber O-ring on it, and every time you put the bolt in, it seems like it kind of catches on there, so you can't really unthread it by hand. You got to stay here with the wrench, but once you get it loose enough, you should be able to get up there, finish it off with just your fingers, and pop this guy out all the way. There's going to be a little gasket O-ring on there. Make sure it's not ripped, make sure it's in good condition. And again, I'm usually draining about 2.5 quarts out each time you do this. So with the tow package, I think it's about 10 quarts in the system. So, you know, you'd have to do this about, 4 times or whatever. There we go. I'm going to be doing a couple flushes, so I'm just going to reuse the crush washer that's on there. Since I'm going to be doing this all over again, I don't want to waste a crush washer, but we still got a little drip in. That's fine though, good enough. Put that back on. snug this up. Don't have to go crazy tight. That's probably good. Make sure your little check bolt here, 5mm Allen, is clean. Use a pick for that. Make sure you can get it loose. Okay, that's loose. Snug that back up. So next we're gonna pump our new transmission fluid into the transmission, and then I'll show you the digital electrical stuff you got to do. All right, so here's the setup. Stick your pump, pull in this way, push that way. Make sure you get it a few inches into your transmission. Since we drained out 2.5, this is a 4-quart jug. We're gonna go 3, 2, half. We're gonna go to 1. We're gonna put 3 in. That way when we do the temp check mode, we'll have a little extra. We'll be able to pull our check bolt out. You're gonna lose about a 1/2 quart until it gets to a dribble, snug it back in, and that's it. So just get pumping away here. So we got 3 quarts pumped back in after draining out 2.5. I like to stick the ends back in the tube so you don't drip everywhere. Now you're gonna grab your 24mm hex fill bolt here. Make sure your O-ring looks good. I like to put a little bit of fresh transmission fluid around the O-ring, just helps seal everything. And then we'll go ahead and we'll thread this back into the transmission, snug it up, and then we'll go on to the temp check mode. I mean, if you have like an ultra gauge or a scan gauge, that makes it a little bit easier. You know, that way you don't have to do the whole paper clip, freaking drive neutral, whatever. Just makes it a little bit, takes the guesswork out of it, and some couple steps. But if you don't have that, Toyota is smart. All you need is a paper clip. So hand thread that in. We'll get a socket on it, snug it up. Doesn't have to be crazy tight. Same thing for the drain bolt, snug it up. And moving right along. All right, so we drained our fluid. We made sure that the check bolt was easy to get out. We snugged it up. We know that's good. That's all you're gonna do. Hop up in your rig. I like to use this because it's a little bit easier paper clip than wire. It's a little more sturdy. But all you're gonna do, you're gonna start your rig. All right, our transmission is super cold right now. Parking brake on. You're just gonna cycle through the gears. Feel them grab. Wait a second. Neutral. Drive. Do that a few times. Come on down to your OBD2 connector. And you're gonna jump pin. Well, for me, I gotta unplug this scanner first. A little counterintuitive. But you're gonna go to pin 4 on the top, and the last pin, which is 13, on the bottom. But basically, just take your paper clip, last one is there, 4th pin there, squeeze it in. You're gonna get a whole bunch of flashing lights. You're gonna go down to your shifter, neutral, drive, neutral, drive. All right, so you do neutral drive, and then your gear indicator is gonna disappear. And once that light disappears, you can go ahead and throw your truck back in park. And again, you're not gonna have any indicator showing, it should be blank. As soon as the D pops back up, that's when you're ready to go pull that check bolt out. Let be missing. As soon as that D shows back up, even though you're in park, the D is gonna show back up. And that's how you know it's up to temperature on the transmission. And we can go under there, loosen the check bolt off the transmission pan, and any excess fluid will drain out. Once you get that down to a dribble, you can put your check bolt back in and you're pretty much good to go. So I'm gonna hang out here, wait for this indicator to pop back up, and then we'll go under the truck and finish this job. Get that Christmas tree shit going on, disappearing gear, put it back in park. You can pull that pin out so you're not watching the Christmas trees anymore. You don't need that. And yeah, you're just hanging out, letting the transmission warm up, and as soon as that gear indicator pops back up, you're good to go. All right, so the D just popped back up. That means it's ready to go check. So let's hop under the truck, leave the truck running. That's your bolt, come through here. Already have mine loose. Careful, everything's hot. And you're gonna let that excess fluid drain out. And you want it to just be kind of like a constant dribble. Right about there. Tighten it back up. Snug it. This is your final flush. Obviously put your new crush gaskets on there. I'm gonna be doing another flush, so I'm just gonna snug this up, go drive it, and repeat the same process. All the same, except for this next time, I'm gonna put my new crush washers on. All right, so after you accomplish all that, you might notice that your D is showing while you're in park. You can just shut your truck off, restart it, and now as you can see, park. I'm gonna go ahead and plug my ultra gauge back in, and then I'm gonna go take it for a test drive. Also for reference, my trans was at exactly 113. So anywhere from 100 to 113 degrees, if you have a gauge like this, then you can alleviate that whole process I explained of paper clipping the pins and going back and forth. Look for reference here. That was my first drain, super gnarly. Second drain, still gnarly, but you can kind of see through it. Third drain was this guy. Now you can kind of see where the, you know, getting some progress here. And then this is just the excess that we drained out right here, which, you know, looking a lot better. I think I'm gonna do one more and call it. But again, no sloppy video. I'm trying, guys, you know, give your boy a break. Fucking, you know, there's way better videos on this shit, but just want to let you know, don't be intimidated by it. Easy, just nuts and bolts. Peace out, bud.